Everybody coming into my videos all the time.
Hi. Makeup.
I'm trying to film. Asked you all on Instagram whether you wanted me to do becoming an Instagram baddie for a day or story time. So 71% of y'all said story time, 29 said Insta baddie. So we're going with the story time. So this is the story of how I almost got arrested by breaking into an abandoned prison. And I'm just going to get ready for my night out while I tell you guys it. So, me and my ex, we're gonna name him Peter. Actually, let me start from the beginning. So, I worked at AMC, the movie theater, and this guy that worked with me, he was older. He was probably, I think, like 22, and I was probably like 16 at the time. He told me that his mom used to work at this abandoned prison and that it was in my town and that you can still go there and like explore because obviously it is abandoned. So I was like, well, where is it? And he wouldn't give me the address. He just told me, oh, it's behind the landfill. So I was like, okay. So one day I was just bored by myself and I went to go look for it, and it's sort of near my house. So I went to go look for it and I actually found it. So I was actually going to hang out with my friends that night and I was like, do y'all want to see it? Do y'all want to go? And it was like pitch black. There was no lights out there, so probably wasn't a good idea, but I still was like, are y'all down? And my scaredy cat friends were like, no. But we still went to just go see it and drive to it. And anyways, long story short, me and my ex, Peter, decided to go scope it out, and he's like a photographer, so he wanted to like take pictures or whatever. And there's like a gate that says no trespassing, so I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's like an entryway around like this forest that was kind of next to it. So we walk down the forest and there's like obviously still a gate kind of lining that forest area. So we go back to where my car is and we're just like, let's just freaking jump the gate because why not? But there was like a there was a camera on the post above it, but like it looked like it was old and didn't work. So we decided to go and be dumb and we jumped the fence. And let me just like explain the layout to you. So there's a gate here, and then behind it there's kind of like a road that like circles around, and then there's a pond, and then there's like a road that circles the pond, and then a parking lot, and then another road that circles the actual prison and the housing units. So we start walking and he's like near the pond and he's like playing with like the freaking gators over there because there was gators, and I was just walking trying to find an entrance. So I walk around the pond this way, and there's kind of like those loading docks, but they obviously have like the big gates with the barbed wire and all that. And at that point I was kind of sketched out, but I was like, I'm freaking already too deep in, so we're about to go into this prison. And so I'm walking around, and then I guess a gator like almost snatches him, so he comes walking towards me, and we start walking like, so I'm over here where the loading dock is, and we start walking this way around to like the back area of the prison where the housing units are. And that's when we kind of see some work trucks on another loading dock across of the field where I was originally. And at that point we were kind of like, I wonder if anyone's here. And so we keep going around and we kind of reach the front office like slash parking lot area, and kind of sketched out because there's a car there. But we look at the tag on the car because I had seen it the nights previous when I came with my friends. So we look at the tag of the car and it's like 10 years old, and I guess it's just sitting there from it being abandoned or whatever. And so we're like, okay, we're not really too worried. But the front of the office had like those, you know, tinted like blacked out windows where you couldn't see in but they could see out. So we were kind of sketched about that as well. Like, is there anyone in there? Who knows? But we just kept walking, and you could read the sign, and I guess it was a juvenile detention center a couple years back. So we passed the sign and we keep going to the portion that's like a yard and the loading dock. Now in the loading dock there's like those work trucks that are like, you know, landscape trucks sort of, with the big like beds in the back. And yeah, and at this point we also start hearing a dog bark. So we're like, there's definitely has to be someone here. And low-key was freaking out, but I was like, whatever, because I was like, okay, let's be dumb. At this point we're hearing like a dog barking, and we're like, okay, we probably need to freaking get out. But he was dumb and was like, nah, let's, he was like, oh, I'm gonna keep going around the back, you can leave if you want. But I was low-key like, so we keep walking around the back, and we're just hearing the dog barking, but we're almost to like the housing units, which were all the way in the back. And we start walking, but then this is where the freaking thing shakes up. We hear a like motorized vehicle, or like we hear like a moped or a motorcycle or a car or something. We hear a motor. So at this point I was like, peace out, SOS, help. That was my face. So I start running towards the ditch, which there's like a ditch on this side, and then, okay, so when we came in, when we jumped that fence, there was a ditch, the gate, and then behind that is the prison. So there was a ditch running alongside the prison. So I hop on it, you know, I am skirting out of there. I am skirting out of there. I wanted nothing to do with that. And as soon as I like get near the ditch, I see Peter running towards me, and he has like his equipment bag or whatever with him, obviously, so he's like carrying that. I see him literally like running, like he looks scared for his life, and I'm just kind of freaking like by the ditch, like what the hell happened. So I'm screaming to him like, what happened, even though I probably shouldn't have made any noise, because like obviously then they knew we were there. But you know, I hit the ground at this point because he's saying like, get down, and then I follow that up with seeing a red motorcycle and like kind of a heavier set man on it, and he is literally like just riding around the prison to check out his new visitors, Peter and I, visiting. You know, he's probably gonna be like, visiting hours are done, y'all. I was literally sprawled out in the grass, and I look in the ditch and it's like full of water, and at this point I'm just like, you're kidding me. And I was thinking back to when we saw the alligators. I'm like, there has to be some gators in here trying to snatch my feet, because I was so scared. At this point I was like, I might as well just get caught. Your girl's not trying to get eaten by an alligator, and I was terrified. But I manned up, I grew some, and I went into the ditch, and I was wearing Sperry's for some reason. I lost both Sperry's in the mud of the ditch. I was in a ditch, I had no shoes on, and I was kind of at this point thinking like, what the heck is my mom gonna think when I come home, because I'm literally soaking wet. I finally get out of the ditch, and the guy is behind the prison now, and we're like in front of it in the ditch, so he was out of sight, out of mind. So we get out of the ditch and literally start booking it. What our plan was, I guess we both just kind of clicked and we're like, okay, we know what to do because we're scared to death right now. And what our plan was, every time that he came in front where he could see us, we would lay down in the grass. And then every time he would go in the back, we would just book it towards the car, because your girl was not trying to go to jail. And obviously he was trying to find us. So I think at some point he realized that we had gotten past the gate. So I think he got off of his moped and moved to his work truck. The trucks that I was talking about prior to like actually seeing the man, they were like work trucks, like landscaping trucks. I was like, I don't have shoes on, and at this point it set in that I was running in like those little spiky things that they have in the grass. What the heck are they called? Hitchhiker, whatever the heck. So I had those all embedded in my feet because I had neglected my shoes in a freaking ditch. So mind you, I was in so much pain, and it had just kicked in because like my adrenaline was kind of like cooling down. And so I handed my keys off to Peter, and he jumped the fence and got into my car. And I was still trying to figure out the courage to get back into the ditch and get back out so that I could get into my car. And you don't understand how many of those hitchhiker things were in my feet, and like some had broken off, but I could see the sticky things sticking out of my foot. So I start running, and Peter freaking backs my car up and hits the road and leaves me there running on the side of the ditch. On the side of the ditch by myself, okay? So I was terrified. I was like, no he did not, like, come back for me please, because I'm freaking out. And I get almost to the end of the street when the work truck is coming out of the gate, and the gate's like opening. So the guy stops his work truck right in front of me, and he rolls down his window and he goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, yes. Like, I just gave very short, sweet answers. I was like, yes, I'm fine. And like, obviously he knew that I was the one that just escaped, had a little prison run, because I was out of breath and I was literally like running from him when he rolled down his window. So like, it was kind of obvious. And so he's like, okay. And then he goes to the end of the street and turns his truck around, so it's coming back towards me, and he rolls down his other window, so now it's like his passenger side door window, and he goes, "Hey, tell your little friend that left you that I have their license plate." So I was like, okay, cool. That walk like almost half a mile down the road further so that I can get picked up, and he's on the phone with me like, sorry, I had to get out of there so that I didn't get your plate, and that's why I backed up, blah 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 blah, so we won't get in trouble, blah blah blah. And he picks me up at the end of the road about a half mile down, like 5 minutes later. So I was walking like scared to death. He's driving, and I'm like, I have to call my mom. Like, I don't know what to do just in case the cops show up at my house. I need to let her know. So I get on the phone with my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm very sorry to inform you, but this just happened. I told her everything, and I was like, please don't get mad at me, but you know, we didn't really like get arrested or anything. We almost did, but you know, it's kind of scary. If the cops show up, I'm telling you why, and da 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 da. So I get home and I'm soaking wet from like my thighs down, and I tell her everything again, and long story short, the cops do not show up, and you know, we were okay. We did not get arrested, but that was probably one of my funnest, one of my wildest, and one of the craziest stories that I have. It was like, I don't regret it because it is a story I can share with a lot of people, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it was real, and I was freaking crapping my pants the whole time. Hey y'all, so my camera died and the lighting has now changed, but I finished up. While I do my hair, I just wanted to give you like a background of the actual prison that I trespassed in. The prison that closed its doors in July 1st, 2012. All 155 full-time positions will be eliminated, and 381 inmates ages 14 to 18 will be relocated. Back in 2016, they actually had Airbnb stays where you could stay the night in a prison, and I remember that from 2016 when that happened. I was like, what the heck, like where do we have a freaking prison here in like Florida that doesn't have freaking inmates? But yeah, that was part of like a Airbnb that you could purchase and spend the night in a prison. So welcome to Florida. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna do a little quick once over once I have my outfit on, and then we're going to O-Town, to Orlando, to hit up the clubs, have a good night, and yeah, I will see you all later. Please drop video ideas that you want to see me post. Okay guys, so done getting ready, makeup, hair, and here's the fit. I got this top from Target and I got these from Ross. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down video ideas down below. Love you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.